Good morning, mob family. How's it going? All right, all right, all right. Let's get this show started. Make sure the mic is where it's supposed to be. Okay, make sure it's on. Taking some of the coffee in the Kaffeeklatsch. How is everyone today? Let me see. Make sure I can see the comments. Hope you're all doing well today. Hello, Connie, Chris Mendoza. How are you? Jennifer Jones. Good welcome. Hello. Good morning. Hello. Let's see who else is here. 716 Archivist. Hello. You remember to join on time. It's fantastic. Sherry B. Hello. Good morning. If I'm looking this way, it's because I'm looking at the screen. I know the camera's right here, but I want to have to be able to read the screen. You made one, Sammy. Fantastic. Let's see. Welcome. Welcome, everyone. Mary Beth, good morning. Click on here to allow your names. If we don't know who you are, you know, it's just gonna say Facebook user. So please, I clicked the link. Let's see if it shows. There it goes. Oh, it's not too laggy today. It's behaving better. So go to that link, and let's stream your show your names, please. Paige, good morning. Thank you. Audrey, good morning. Questions are awesome. I looked at them a little early this time. Let's see. Oh, excuse me. Heather, good morning. Let's see what's here. Okay, looks like everybody is here. Everybody who's here is here. Fantastic. Fresh coffee. I have my fresh coffee. Fresh coffee. Don't do it without spilling. Fresh coffee. I drink it black, like my soul. Trying out an Earl Grey. Well, good for you, Heather. Tea with corn flour. That sounds so healthy. I'm glad you're trying that out. I'm taking this off. Hiding this. See how it behaves. It'll take a while because StreamYard is slightly laggy today, but not. Oh my God, I'm feeling so scruffy today. Wow, not just today. I'm feeling scruffy in general because I'm letting the beard grow. I am. And one of the main tenets of letting your beard grow is to not shave it. Who knew? So it's growing in, but oh my God, is it itchy? Man. Let me see. Okay, yeah. Everything seems to be okay. Full with Chris. Let's see. I feel funky. Oh, here we go. Full tea with corn flour. You have tea with a shot of espresso. And that at that point, Chris, just have the shot of espresso. Thank you, Jennifer, for the kind words. I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. I don't want to. I guess I could at this point I could answer questions about saints and monks if you have any because it's out there. Just ask, sure. If I can answer it, I will. If I can't, I'll let you know that it's spoilerish. If anyone hasn't read it, give us a heads up. I don't want to spoil it for anyone. I don't like spoiling stories anyway. So, yeah, I have product for it. Look, I have the shampoo, I have a beard wash, and a beard conditioner. I'm set on that part. Then I also have I don't get sponsored, so I'm just endorsing. This is one that was recommended to me. I have beard balm, ooh, and I have beard oil. Ooh, I can have like a beard video channel, but there are like thousands of them out there. And I have my beard brush. Awesome. I also have, and this is me being optimistic, a beard comb for when it actually grows. But that's a while before that happens. So I'm ready. It's just, oh my God, the itching is incredible. Thank you. I'm glad you guys enjoyed Saints and Monks. So like I said, if you have any questions, any comments you want to make about it, you certainly can. And if it's not spoilerish, I will answer it and address it, of course. Oh yeah, I'm committed. I've had facial hair before. I've had a goatee before, and I used to take care of it. But this time I said, you know, I'm gonna let it really grow. And so I put the oil in, let it sit for like about 5 minutes, and then I put the balm in and let that sit in for a while. Then I brush it. All that to deal with the itchiness because the itchiness is incredible. Chocolate tea. I've tried Pure tea, which is PU-ERT, and it's pretty good. It's chocolate tea. It's not coffee though. Yeah, the gray hair is harder. The gray hair because it's a little bit more brittle, it seems, so it's a little tougher to cut. But I'm not shaving. I'm not shaving it at all. All I've done was take care of the line that's here, so it don't look too crazy. But everything else, I'm just letting it grow like a wild man. And I'm feeling like Animal from the Muppets. Yeah, Earl Grey is a Monty's thing. I drink coffee. I drink coffee. I drink it really black. The Death Wish is a killer. Black. When I first started drinking it black, I was like, oh my God, yeah, it's rough. And now because of the gout thing, I can't really take sugar too much. I used to drink it with sugar, and now it's like no sugar. And when I started drinking it without sugar, I was like, this is gonna keep you up for 3 days. It's crazy. that's what it feels like. I feel like Animal from the Muppets. I try to get them out fast. Sammy, because but they go through KDP, and sometimes the formatting is. And now Vellum, the actual program it's gotten more robust with the formatting of the print book, or just the formatting in general. So I'm gonna see if I can start. I gotta get back into learning curve is steep. Get back into and kind of work with the formatting, and I have drop cases to play with, and I can actually add images and things like that. So I'm going to start doing that and seeing if I can make the print books a little nicer. So I'm working on it. They keep releasing updates, so we're working on it. So yeah, so that's my facial situation. Let me say hello to everyone that's here because you guys are here. So let me say hi. Huge shout out to everyone at YouTube. I say a lot of YouTube things, so it's awesome. Thanks to all you have for YouTube. Yeah, page numbers. That's a big one. So yeah, that's coming back for sure. Everyone on YouTube, hello everyone. We're at Bitten Peaches on YouTube. So at Bitten Peaches on YouTube, and there you can find this on Kaffeeklatsch, and you can also find the CWW episodes, which right now are Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Trying out different formats to see. Doing it every day. I don't know if it's stressing me, but it's more like I don't need to do it every day, but then again, I do need to do it every day. It's this weird thing. I'm in this weird place with it. So I'm kind of trying out Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and see how that works. We'll see. If it doesn't, then I'll go back to every day. I definitely don't do weekends because weekends I kind of stay away. I try to have some downtime away from the computer. Here's the link to CWW. Thank you, Chris. Totally appreciate it. I'm flying up solo today because Dolly is at school with the Valkyries, and so it seems quiet because she's not here next to me. She's always with me, but she's not here next to me. But I'm sure if she's not watching right now, she's gonna be watching very soon. So she'll be in the audience, I'm sure. So huge shout out to everyone on YouTube. Hola YouTube, ¿cómo estás? We're at Bitten Peaches Publishing. This is the link. You can go for Creative Warrior Wisdom. It's real short links every day, some wisdom. I'm getting older, so I do have some wisdom. So, and I try to share thoughts, stoic thoughts, martial arts thoughts, life, hard lessons learned thoughts, in like 5 to 6 minutes, and hopefully you can get something from it, or you can share it with someone else, and it can help your life and improve your life. There's my Valentine. She's there. Look, you get to see her name. Dolly's right there. On Instagram, we're at Bitten Peaches. I have not given up on Instagram. I just haven't gotten to it. But now that I've got a little break between books, and I mean a little break because the next book starts Monday. So I have a little break between books. I'm going to set up some stuff for Instagram and then start putting things on Instagram. So yeah. So on Instagram, we're at Bitten Peaches. Please go to Instagram and follow us there. And you can see that we have some stuff in the book excerpts. I have so much material since the last time I posted on Instagram. It's gonna have. There's a lot of stuff to put up, so that's good. Let me hide this. And our links are all up in the MoB. So if there's something you miss, you can always go there. I'm gonna show the links because our Technomancer is putting up links. So I'm going to do the links, of course. This is where you can find us on Instagram. Let me get through the commercials, guys. ZAZZLE, our fantastic ZAZZLE store. We have so much swag. We have new Saints and Monks swag. There's a Saints and Monks shirt, which is awesome. All our shirts look awesome, but the Saints and Monks shirt is awesome. It's not romance centric. Where you keep hearing that it's romance centric, it is not romance centric. Just because it's on Valentine's Day doesn't mean this is a romance centric Kaffeeklatsch. All right, so our ZAZZLE store, this is our link. Please use that reference number because it helps our analytics. And I don't know if we have any new Patreon people because we get new Patreon all the time. And if you're not on Patreon, you really should be because first of all, they're exclusive stories, which I'll get to in a little while. The Bureau is going to be done. And that's only a Patreon. That's a Patreon exclusive story. And we have plenty of Patreon stories that are exclusive to Patreon. So you're missing out on stories. And it's free. You can join us for free on Patreon. So if you're not on Patreon, please do. And if you're on Patreon and you know someone who's not on Patreon, tell them to get on Patreon. They get free stories. They get access to free stories. And you can go up in tiers and get access to other things like the actual books and things like that. Patreon's awesome. Our Patreon is awesome. We're trying to make it more awesome as it goes. As it grows, we're trying to make it even more and more awesome. Let's see. Binge Books. We're on Binge Books, Bibo, as we used to call it, or we still call it. Binge Books is kind of like an aggregate place, or it's like a place where you can find authors. And we feature there often. So this is our Binge Books location. Just go there, click on the link, say, hey, I read Saints and Monks, and it was awesome. Or you can say whatever you want to say. It's cool. And it's basically just a place that we put our books, put everything we need out there so other people can find it. And just another place to be discovered. So go on Binge Books, follow us. Same thing with BookBub. You can follow us on BookBub as well. I think there's like 250 people on BookBub, and we have more people than that in the MoB. So if you haven't followed us on BookBub, please do. And it's the same thing. It's just a place to find us. Leave a review. Show some social proof that you like the books, and that's basically just helps us grow. These are all methods to help us grow. Right, Aaron, good morning. Okay, I think we're good with the commercials. Yeah. All right. How is everyone doing today? So if you have any questions or really comments, I'm open to comments about Saints and Monks. Like, what about Saints and Monks? I like to do these after the book is released and there's a MoB usually after it. What was it about Saints and Monks that stuck with you? And if any other questions you have, you can find everything here on the website. Here's the link to the website. Please go here. Our audiobooks are here. So I think all our audiobooks are going to move to the website. So if you don't have our audiobooks, we're up to book 18. So we're a little laggy behind, but that's because audiobooks just take a long time to produce. They're not cheap. They're pretty expensive. I think Dolly broke it down one day, how much audiobooks cost. They're not cheap, and we're paying for them ourselves because we're independent in terms of the audiobooks. So we're catching up. We're on book 27 now of M&S, and we're on book 18 of audiobooks. So we'll catch up eventually. Okay. So go to the website, visit, browse, look around, and if you don't have the audiobook, you can get it there. Thank you, Chris, for all the links. You technomancers are amazing. Yes, one of those free books is about Silk, the man. You definitely need to check it out. Delta Dawn, what that flower you and Dolly have on could be a very, okay. I guess it sounds like a song. All right, so Jennifer says the growth of Simon and distinctive features was stunning. Yes, it's changing. It's changing. Okay, don't even do that, Dolly. Today you guys have carte blanche to talk love and romance with relationships, right? No, we're not doing love and romance. No, one caveat I will say, okay? Rebecca Yaros's book, The Empyrean Trilogy, I think it's not trilogy, it's a series. I think it's 5 books, but she's on the 3rd book, and I just finished the 2nd book, Iron Flame. Good writing. Good story in terms of the story itself. It has romance in it, and I could see why. The last time I checked, the first book alone has 340-something thousand reviews. I was like, what? And it didn't come out that long ago. So it's definitely getting, the romance part definitely gets a lot of attraction. I was really, really impressed with that. The writing itself is good. The story and the magic, like I was telling Dolly the other day, it's the magic and the dragons aspect is what grabs me, only because I like the fantasy. But it's not urban fantasy per se. But it's good. It's good, and I totally understand why she has the audience she has. She writes uh, more in the romance, and it's really more adult in terms of the romance. But I can see why she has the following that she has. Okay, I'll read some questions. Saints and Monks was awesome. This is Heather. Is increase in volume of the sorrows and Banshee is a fitting color. Yes, yes. Increase in volume of the sorrows has to do with Monty's shift. It's all tied to him. What inspired me for Saints and Monks? Jeez. That's a good question. Wow. Simon had to grow, right? We all know Simon had to grow. It was like 25 books in the making, but Simon had to grow. And I wanted to do it in a way that wouldn't be the typical way for like something like Monty and Strong. It couldn't be the usual way. So I went back to my roots of the old kung fu movie montage where I was explaining this to Dolly because I doubted she grew up on kung fu movies like I did. But a lot of you who are about my age probably grew up on these kung fu movies. And um, there's the guy who gets hurt, who gets beat up or almost killed. Then he goes, finds a master to teach him the hidden art of whatever, the three-finger death touch or whatever the case may be. There's a whole part of the movie where he's learning and struggling and suffering, and the master's beating on him and telling him, not like that, again, do it again. And eventually, that's what happens. And he learns, he becomes a master himself and goes back and, revenge. Something like that, except that Simon is not motivated by revenge, right? He can't be motivated by revenge because it's not revenge that's driving him. So I had to kind of drop him into one of those kind of training montages, but not make the book about the training montage. Because I didn't want it to be boring. A training montage in a movie is fantastic. A training montage in a book is boring if it's written wrong. So I had to really think about that. But that was the motivation. Simon had to grow. Simon had to train. And I already had monks in the book. I had Master Yacht. I just had to expand a little bit more into Master Yacht's world. We kind of saw more of Master Yacht's world and open it up just a bit so that everyone could kind of see what's happening in that world. So that's what I did. We kind of got a view, a tour of Master Yacht's corner of the M&S universe, basically. And it was fun. It was fun. And I'm not going to spoil more because I was only halfway through Saints and Monks. Dan says, I love Simon's training, especially when he talks with Jin and Yacht. Yeah, Jin and Yacht. Jin was a fun character to write. And he's coming. Jin will make more appearances later on. The way the questions he has are spun back in history eventually. Yes, because that's the way it has to be. His questions, that's a very Zen way of learning. Then when you ask a question and it comes back to you, maybe you take the question, you turn it slightly 90 degrees, and you send it back to the person who asked the question, and then eventually the learning comes, the realization. It's almost like an epiphany the person has, and say, oh, this is the answer to the question that I asked. And so but it's a hard way of learning because it's so frustrating, because you want an answer to your question, which is why you asked in the first place, and the question that you get is usually a question. So the answer you get is usually a question that's tied to your question, and this is weird loop that goes around. But eventually you learn, and you learn in one of the best ways because you learn by growing, and that's hard. It's a long way of learning, but yeah. Let's see. Chris says, I love how Simon's coming to terms with his own use of magic. Right. He's actually coming to terms with it, and it's no longer the I'm not a mage mantra. So it's important for him to learn that, because what's coming, man, I don't know if you guys are ready for what's coming in the next. Let's see, I'm looking at the list now. Mages and Monsters is actually kind of a breather book, like take a breath. But after that is Deadeye, Nemesis, Chaos Rising, Paper Dragons, Phantom Pain, Dark Flame, and Dark Mage. Those are the titles of the books that are coming. So there you go, preview. Mages and Monsters, which is the next book, is a breather. It's kind of like, okay, let's take a moment. But after that, it's just what's coming is whoa, whoa. I'll give you a hint for Deadeye. Deadeye is all about the shot that Simon didn't take when he was supposed to kill a child as an operative for Shadow Company. All that comes back now, present. And Nemesis is about, I can't even say what Nemesis. Nemesis is like, oh my God, Nemesis is bad. Nemesis is rough. But I can't, and Chaos Rising, I'll put it like this. It's all like nail biting. It's crazy. It'll be fun. It'll be fun. Yes, Mary Beth. Let me go back a little bit. Dan says, yes, I agree with your notes at the end of and wholeheartedly. At the end, wholeheartedly. Eventually, Simon had to grow up. The Snark will only have taken so far. He had to accept things for him and the story. For him and the story. Yeah, because Snark is good, and you'll still see Snark. Like even in Saints and Monks, there was Snark, but it's not the driving method of Simon communicating anymore. Not that Simon's going to lose the Snark. He'll still have the Snark. It's going to be very selective Snark, and depending on who he's facing, he'll realize that Snark can get him killed. And so he's going to have to be very, very selective about how he uses that Snark, but it'll be there. And it's also there in his way of being. You know, Simon is Snark. He's just the way he is. But he's also now an Aspis. He has to mature. He can't just address everything with Snark. And understand that the Snark was a coping mechanism for his fear, and he has to overcome that. So he may have really good answers and really good lines and really good things to say, really good ways of saying things, but it won't be Snark, you know? And then accountability and responsibility are necessary with how powerful Simon. Yes, if he doesn't understand, if he doesn't embrace the accountability and responsibility that he has, he's gonna die. Not only that, not only is he gonna die, the people he cares for are going to die. And so he has to understand. And that's why I hope I'm not ruining it for Yacht. This is not a spoiler, but you know, accountability and responsibility aren't supposed to make you happy. Anyone who's had kids, anyone who's a parent, who's accountable, oh, you have a pet, and you're responsible for their life, excuse me, accountability and responsibility aren't the recipe to happiness. That's not how it works. Only very immature or children figure I don't need to be accountable. You know, truly happy people, and I don't want to say this as a blanket statement because it's there's two sides to this coin, right? Truly happy people have embraced their accountability and their responsibility. I think that's the best way to say it. When you're at peace with what you're accountable for and what you're responsible for and who you're responsible for, when you're at peace with that, when you're content with that, you can be happy. Once you understand your accountability and your responsibility, you can be happy. Sounds like a CWW episode. Like we segued into a CWW episode. Amazing. The comparison to Peanut finally got through to him, right? Because he was when Yacht asked him about her, and he describes her. I'm not going to go into details because a lot of people haven't read the whole story. And then Yacht turns it around and says, "Okay, how do you think they're talking about you?" And he goes, "Oh, like light bulb moment. Oh, okay, I get it." So it's like that. Right. Snark got me in so much trouble when I was younger too, because I had an answer for everything. That usually got me. I mean, that got me in trouble a lot. Not Snark, smart mouth. Yeah, because Snark is more like sarcasm with wit. A smart mouth just gets you smacked, which is a whole different way of answering things. Aaron says Simon's starting to ask the right questions in order to grow his own power to become. Yes. So you're not late, Michelle. You're here. Just like Dan says, a major arrives when a major arrives. Yeah, if you're on YouTube now, do me a favor. Please hit the thumbs up for the video. So you know it helps the YouTube, I guess, algorithm. I guess. So let's get as much positive recognition as possible. So if you're on YouTube, please hit the algorithm and thumbs up. And welcome, Michelle. Yeah, he's asking the right questions because remember that when Peaches goes XL and he sounds the way he sounds, that's where Simon is supposed to end up. That's where Simon is supposed to be. That's kind of like the bomb mate final form in a way. So the reason Peaches speaks in such a simplified manner, it's not because he's not intelligent. His capacity is there, but Simon has to catch up to where Peaches is. And so, if I don't think I've done it for Cerberus. So when you see it, those few moments that Hades and Cerberus speak, and Cerberus is already gigantic, right? Cerberus is that's kind of like the form a hellhound takes. Cerberus is already enormous, ginormous. But when Hades speaks to Cerberus, they're on par. Their conversations on par. Cerberus doesn't have to dumb it down for Hades, the way Peaches has to kind of dumb it down for Simon. So that's where Simon is going. That's where he'll get, you know? Smart mouth equals getting popped for me. Yeah, growing up. And I got popped a lot. And the thing is that my mom was a sniper, basically. Like, she could throw something from across the room and hit me. So if I said something and I thought distance was gonna be my friend or cover me, by the time I finished getting the words out of my mouth, it was like, "Pah!" Popped. Or if she was close, I'd get hit. It was bad. So I learned really to be either really sarcastically smart, so it didn't come across, so there was a little bit of doubt if I was being sarcastic, or just learn not to say it far enough away that she couldn't hear. It was one of those two. I was the only one that couldn't find a link to the Kaffeeklatsch. It's in the Facebook group. I don't know, but to tell you, Aaron, let me know if you're having difficulties. If not, we're also on YouTube. You can go on YouTube, and like the link was up earlier. So that's the case with Simon and his situation. Beware the chancla is no joke, Paige. It's like my mom had. I'll put it to like this. This is a little bit of my history so that you understand. When my dad was alive, he owned guns. He would take my mom to the range, and she would outshoot my dad on the range. That's how dangerous she was. Like, she had such great aim, and she could. My dad, at some point, I think he stopped taking her to the range because he got scared of how good she was getting with her shooting. My mom always had that. She said she always had that aim. Wherever she looked, that's where she hit. I am living proof that that is a true statement, because if she had something in her hands and she wanted to hit you with it, you were done. You were hit. That's it. It was over. So yeah. Peaches won't get 3 heads. No. That's a great question though, because because he is a hellhound like Cerberus, but he's not gonna get the 3 heads. No. Because the whole hellhound thing with 3 heads, if you go into the mythology, and trust me, I have, because homework, when you're an author, it says homework. There are some mythos that don't have Cerberus with 3 heads. It's just a huge hellhound. And then the general consensus on hellhounds is that they don't have 3 heads. Only Cerberus has 3 heads, but that was because of a specific mythology that has a 3 heads aspect. But Peaches isn't going to get 3 heads, no. Michelle says Peaches has that supernatural DNA where, as all this was thrust upon Simon as well. Right, because Peaches is born as a supernatural creature. So it's not like he has to learn anything. This is who he is. It's like trying to learn a foreign language as an adult is a lot harder. Yeah, because if you grew up in a language, let's say I grew up in Spanish, right? So Spanish is really easy for me to speak now. But if I'm going to try and learn Korean because of all the K-drama my young Valky keeps putting on my Netflix channel, and I'm going to try and learn Korean so I don't have to read subtitles, it's a little harder because I have to learn the language, and I have to learn, and it's a non-Arabic language, so it's symbols, but it's also, kamsahamnida and all this other stuff is different than, hola, ¿cómo estás? It's hard. Same thing. Think of learning a language as an adult and growing up in a language is Simon and Peaches. That's why Simon has to catch up to Peaches. He says, my mom used to throw the phone at my hubby when he was young. Yeah, well, a big old, oh my God, that's a weapon. That's not even a phone. Those big that's a lethal weapon, throwing that phone. That's like throwing those rotary phones. Those things were like this big. It felt like they were made of solid steel. And when you put that phone down somewhere, It stayed there. No one moved that. It was like, wow, those things had heft to them. So yeah, that's you know, that's where I was in terms of with with the aspect of Simon learning his responsibility and his accountability stuff. Yeah, those old bell phones were no joke. Let me tell you. I got menaced with those phones a few times because my mom would pick up the receiver and like look at me and then be like, and the cords were long. So the cords, because you see my headphones, the cords were like this kind of cord, right? And they were like this long. They would stretch and they would be long. And my mom had one like I think it was like 100 feet long. Because remember, the actual base stayed in one place. No one moved the base. You just took the receiver and went around the house, right? So she got one of those extra long, and there were times where she came at me like, I was like, okay, I'm good. We don't need to. And not that I grew up abused. I did not. It was just that I had a smart mouth. And back then, smacking your kid was acceptable. Not so much now. So, and like Paige says, beware the chancla. So one of the things that happened, speaking of Paige and the chancla, and it just brought this to mind. One of the things that happened during this book, and I alluded to it I didn't allude to it, I guess I described it in the Shredders. But so if you're not in the Shredders, you won't know this. But in the Shredders group, the actual group dedicated to Shredders, I kind of explained, and you won't know this because post edits, you won't see it. But one of the things that happened, I was reading Rebecca Yarros's story, The Fourth Wing, which is the first in the Empyrean thing. And and speaking of which, it's 12. So Chris, let's get those promos out quick. Right after this story, we're gonna do the promos. So I was reading Rebecca Yarros' story, and what happens is what I call seepage or contamination. Her story is written kind of like in present tense, and this is one of my cardinal rules that I broke while I was writing Saints and Monks, which is I never do this. Because as I was writing Saints and Monks, the last few chapters, only because I was at the end of her story, the last few chapters, like chapter 26, 27, 28, right? And it was really 27, and then I added 28, and then I had to change 27, 20, 28. It was weird. I added 28, and then I had to change up the last chapters. But as I was finishing up Saints and Monks, the methodology that she uses for writing the tense, which is present tense, is that it started seeping into my writing again, which is why I have the cardinal rule in place as to not read other fiction while I'm writing, because my brain has it's like a sponge thing. It just kind of just takes these things and puts it into the writing. So I want to thank you guys, Paige, and all the Shredders. I don't see other Shredders. Chris is here. I don't see that many Shredders here. You guys are awesome and hitting and seeing that, addressing it. A huge shout out to Dolly. And you guys, took the tense and made it the way it needed to be. And my apologies, because that really rips you out of the story. When the tense changes suddenly like that from past to present or present to future, whatever the case may be, it yanks you out, which is not good. So I apologize. I won't do that. I won't do that again. But I just want to let you know, it doesn't matter how long you've been writing, certain things can just happen to a writer, to an author, that you need to be aware of, you need to be careful of, and you need to kind of maintain the integrity of your voice. So be very careful of consuming other media, other stories, while you're creating your own stories. But that's me. I don't know if that's for everyone or for every author, but for me, I usually read like how to write stories. Like Larry Brooks or James Scott Bell or Stephen Pressfield, things like that. When I write, it's all nonfiction and it's all author stuff of like creating your craft, getting better at your craft, things like that. I don't really read stories while I'm writing one because one, I want to keep it true to the story that I'm creating. Two, I want to avoid any accidental contamination into my story because it's just the brain is such an amazing thing that you may think this is your idea, and then you go back and you read the story you're reading. Oh, wait a minute, that's it. That's exactly this. So you want to avoid that. Okay. All the promos that we're putting up now will be up in the mob later. And let me get to these really quick comments. Actually, let me get to the promos and then I'll get back to the comments. Hold on. So Crumley, I say because it's MM. So Crumley, book 2 of her series is out. Let me put it up. There's a little lag on StreamYard, so I apologize. This will show momentarily. There you go. Jenny Falk, Saint Killer, Blood Ties, just released. It's funny because I see Blood Ties, and there was a moment where every book that I was releasing, independent of whatever series I was writing, had some blood involved in it. So I had Blood Bond, blood this, blood that. It was a bloody mess. So, but that aside, M.M. Crumley, book 2 of her series, Janie Falk, Saint Killer, Blood Ties has just released. That's the site, the link. Please go there. And like Chris said, all the links will be in the mob afterwards at the end of the show. Okay, Rachel Carr. Wow, I haven't seen Rachel Carr. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see AD. AD just released a book or has a book out. She has a Valentine's Day sale. And happy Valentine's, everyone, if you just came in later. So on her author store, her 14 new bespoke editions in the store, 7 books and bespoke hardback and paperback. The books look amazing, look gorgeous. I'm still kind of moving into getting some hardbacks out there. I'll probably do it for the first in series, but one because they're not that. They're more like collectors thing. I have like a few hardbacks, but they're really like collector's editions. People don't really go for hardbacks anymore. Paperbacks, yes. Hardbacks, I have the person who's like a collector and really likes hardbacks. But AD Starting has 14 new bespoke editions. Go check them out. They look amazing. I saw them the other day. I was like, whoa, if I ever do a hardback, like I'm going to make it look like this. Okay, Rachel Carr, Shingles Audio Collection, Volume 10 release. So she has an audiobook collection, Volume 10. Rachel Carr, great author. She's been doing stuff for a long time. Yeah, the connection today is really rough. Here it's laggy, but not that laggy. It's been worse. It has been worse. And I'm sorry, Paige. Not that I have any actual control over it. I'm hooked up on a LAN. It's not like it should be laggy at all. Okay. And all the links will be up on the website. On our MoB TV. Okay. Let me go back a little bit. Michelle says, Mom used a wooden spoon or a hairbrush. And I swear she can throw things around corners. Yeah, she had that. All moms have somehow mastered boomerang throwing, because I know I've been around corners sometimes, and it's either ricocheted off a wall or it's curved. You ever seen this movie Wanted where they fire guns and supposedly the bullet curves? So my mom had that ability. She could throw things and it seemed to go around the corner and hit you. It was insane. Yeah, it's crazy. I feel your pain, Michelle. Heather says anime recommendation. Mononoke, not the princess one. Okay. Cords reach from one side of the kitchen to the living room at full stretch. Yeah. I don't know. It's Mononoke a regular anime without not the one from Studio Ghibli? I have to check it out. Okay. Aaron says, when I was little, I used to know about 200 to 300 Syrian words and phrases. I learned it from my big Sito. Today I'm lucky for out of practice. That's all it is. If you don't practice it, it vanishes, it disappears. Although I don't think I could forget or lose my Spanish because it was most of my life. So even now, I can speak Spanish without an issue. So yeah, it's the practice of, especially with language, it's the practice. I think some language, someone needs to do a study on this, how some languages just remain in your brain. You don't lose it. It's interesting. Like English, I don't lose English. I don't lose Spanish. So there's got to be something in your brain that helps you remember, and then it should be easy to unlock that you can remember all your languages. Because I was very fluent in French when I was in school. I studied French for many years, and I was fluent. I really knew how to speak and write and everything. And now I don't French. Well, I don't know. I can say anything in French. I have to try and speak to Dolly. She's good at French. Let's see. Heather says, I'm getting stuttering audio, but since it's like 3 degrees outside, yeah, it could be environmental to where you are, unfortunately. I should try using magic in my book titles. Yeah, I'm going to pass on using magic. One reader asked me, which was interesting, because I was aware of it. I don't know if anyone else is aware of it. Is why is Peaches never featured in any of the book covers? And it was a good question because it's a deliberate decision. It's something that I didn't do by accident. It's something I actually did not want Peaches on the cover. The only cover that he's on is a proper hellhound and all of the Brew and Chew books. Those because those the Brew and Chew books are his story, right? And a proper hellhound is about him. But all the other M&S stories, even though I always say Peaches is the star of the series, and he's the heart of that series. I don't want to have him on the cover, because it's just like I think it takes away from Peaches's aura or mystique. I don't know. What do you guys think? Yes, and AD did a fantastic job designing the bespoke volumes. Wow, they look great. They really did. Sick Puppy says, I popped over YouTube, serious lag between audio and video, but at least it's not cutting off. Yeah, it has to be the connection somewhere because I'm not getting any of that. But, these things happen. These are technological things. Yes, Dan, Galactus! Oh my God! I cannot believe they finally. Some are saying it's a little too late, but it's actual Galactus. It's not Galactus the cloud. Yes, I kind of got that page from the sick. Yeah, because I was like, who is Sick Puppy? Oh, okay. Heather says, I'll post a thing for the original anime and the manga. Oh yeah, the current installments are called The Phantom in the Rain and The Rage of Ashes. Okay, I'll have to check it out. It's on Netflix for sure. I'm currently doing Sakamoto Days on Netflix with the youngest Valkyrie, and it's really awesome. So we're doing that. In fact, we have another episode scheduled for tomorrow. One of my older sons has read the manga and says it's fantastic, but the anime show is going to lag much way after whatever is happening in the manga. So yeah, I like to imagine what he looks like. Oh, wait, who looks like Michelle? Hold on, let me go back a bit. Go back because I don't want to lose the train of the conversation. Well, who looks like Michelle? I mean, I'm not saying Peaches because we all know what Peaches looks like. But yes, Dan, massive random tangent Galactus. I think the lag is an FB thing for sure. Yeah. Aaron says the new Fantastic Four movie looks like okay, except for Herbie. They should have dropped in the fact that it looks like they have 760. Yeah. Oh, Herbie, I can't. They didn't really need to bring him into that movie. I mean, I get the whole starting from the beginning, first order, whatever. Herbie wasn't really necessary. Oh, Peaches is based after a Cane Corso with Peaches like tweaks, I guess, or upgrades. Like he has the runes along his side, the baleful glare. So he basically looks like a Cane Corso, but I didn't want to include him in the covers of the books. And some people tell me that's bad marketing. You should have because dogs sell. I'm like, yeah, I get dogs sell, but that's not why he's a character, and that's not why he's in the book. Because if you guys, those of you who have been here since Tomb Yards, know that I killed Peaches. Well, I was going to kill Peaches after book 3, and I almost ended my author career there because I had a bunch of readers who were going to come after me with the pitchforks and the torches were coming out. So he's not there as a marketing tool, but he's integral to the story, and I wanted. It's kind of like what Michelle's position is. I want everyone to kind of have their own little version of Peaches in a way, because I know what he looks like to me and how I feel, But everyone kind of has their own Peaches version, which is okay. And that really is okay. But yeah, I think it might be solar flares. I'm okay over here. I think it, but I can see there's a slight like half a second lag on things. Yeah. Oh, wait. So wait a minute. I don't know who the 760 archivist. Great name, by the way. Let's see. I remember that and was very glad that the subsequent books were already out because I almost stopped reading them. No, you're not the only one. There's no need to apologize for that, because had I not listened to the readers when I was writing that section, and I let some of the mob read it ahead of time, and they all said, "What? You killed Peaches? Hi, Elizabeth. Welcome." Okay. So the collective response to Peaches' death, the first one, which is going to be a true death, right? He was going to be written out of the book because it's only going to be a trilogy anyway. Here we are, 26 books later. It was only going to be a trilogy. But the collective response to Peaches dying, which is why he died, because it was going to be a trilogy, was, "Are you out of your mind? Are you crazy? You can't kill Peaches." I'm like, no, I can. Watch. I just did. See? This is what happens to him, and then he dies. And it's like, no, you can't kill Peaches. I took a pause. I looked at the mob, and they all had very valid reasons for why I couldn't kill Peaches. And then they let me know, listen, you cannot do this. This does not work. You can't kill the dog. So I had to really take a moment to think, is this the hill that I'm willing to die on, in terms of, I'm writing these characters and I'm going to kill them if I want to kill them, or I'm going to listen to what the readers want and like and enjoy, and am I going to keep them alive? And so I opted to, one, keep Peaches alive and let Peaches live and become an integral part of the story, like really an important part. And also, yes, Peaches is the heart of the story, but he's also part of Simon's growth. So instead of just making him the sidekick to Simon in a way, he was going to be part of Simon growing into what he really needed to be, which is what's happened. So, oh yeah, Mary Beth, the second death was hard for me. I wrote it and I still kind of suffered through that one. And I knew it wasn't a real one. And I was like, oh my God, I can't do this. And if you notice, there haven't been any more things like that severe. Especially the one when he faced Julian. Ooh. Okay, Aaron says, you were going to do to him what Jim Butcher originally intended to do to his character Butters from Deadbeat. No, Butters grew out of death because he became too important. He's a knight of the sword now. Butters he also became too important. Like in the beginning, Butters was really a sidekick. And I could see Jim Butcher killing him off. I could totally understand if Butters died. What I didn't accept, and still don't forget Jim for, is killing the warden. That was not cool. That was not cool. Yeah. So Peaches is the perfect example of a good character driving the story, because Peaches, even though it seems, how do I say it? It seems subtle. It seems indirect. Peaches has a way of moving the story in the direction that it needs to go. Even with being it almost seems like he's just hanging out in the background, like a background character, but he's not. It's really amazing how that character, how Peaches moves Simon in the direction that he needs to move. Yeah, it's really future me telling younger me, don't do it. Don't make me get Sid to have to go back to fix you. So no, don't do it. Because, and I didn't know. So here's the thing, that as an author, at Tuners and Butterflies and even Blood is Thicker, I was still kind of a very new author. I didn't know, right? And I didn't know what I didn't know. In other words, I didn't know I killed the dog because he's a character and I haven't slated to die, and that's not a big deal. And I didn't know that, one, that's an unwritten rule, don't kill the dog. Yeah, Morgan's death was not cool. I almost stopped reading Jim completely after that. I didn't know that killing Peaches would have been a mistake. That's the thing. It would have had shock value, but let me tell you what would have happened, because future me can tell past me. All the readers that read Blood is Thicker would have said it was good, but he killed the dog. And then they would have told their friends, good story, but he kills the dog. And all that would have remained was, oh yeah, in the third book, he kills the dog. So the dog that you got attached to in book 1 and in book 2 dies in book 3. I could see all the reviews now because that's what would have happened. That's what would have happened. And I was like, is that what I want to write? Do I want to write something where, you know, and I love dogs. I had dogs. And so I was like, no, I don't want to write a story where the only thing that's memorable is that he kills the dog. If the author killed the dog in the third book, then it would have been a trilogy. Because after that, everything gets done, you know, everything gets panned, you know, and every review is going to start with great story, but he killed the dog in the last book. Like, no, I don't want to live with that. So, and plus, myself, I couldn't see killing pizzas that way and justifying it. It was great for the story, and it really is jarring in the story. But after a while, I was like, no, this can't happen. And this is why the mob was able to say, no, you can't kill the dog. No way. Oh, see, Dan, I didn't think anyone caught that. Just like I didn't think, okay, honestly, I thought I got away with the Princess Bride Easter egg. I thought I got away with it. Fool that I was, I thought I got away with it. But for the fifth pillar, that one was deliberately sneaky, and it's coming back. Oh, yeah. I'll put it to you like this, Dan. Somewhere after Dark Mage, which is, I don't know how many books from here, there's a book titled The Fifth Pillar. That tells you everything. All right, let me get to the questions because it's already, I don't know what happens with the time in this, but yeah, I know, everybody caught it. Everybody gleefully told me, I saw you snuck in a Princess Bride Easter egg. I hadn't done one in a while, but, you know, and I don't do them. They're not deliberately. I don't do them deliberately. They just come out as I'm writing, and then it goes right into the next thing that I'm writing. So in that moment, when the threat was made, my response was what he said. Bye, Michelle. Wish the small blue a happy birthday. Go pick up a cake. Yes, you can't miss that. Go get the cake. Have a great weekend, Michelle. Okay, questions. You're very welcome. You're enjoying it. I hope you're reading it. So yeah, I won't spoil it for you. I got questions from Audrey. The question at this point, she's like a question mage, Archmage Audrey. Ooh, good title, Audrey. Let me give you that title. Archmage Audrey of the questions. Okay, Audrey asks, and thank you, Audrey, for your questions, because questions always make the shows more interesting. And I looked at these only a few minutes before the show, so I try not to look at them before the show so that my answers are in the moment. Audrey asks, she asked 3 questions. First one, Orlando, if you could be any of your characters, who would you be? I've said it before, and I've alluded to it several times. The character closest to who I am as a person is Gray, Gray Strider from the Night Lord. It's basically if you analyze Gray, it's kind of basically who I am at my core. Not that I'm the cranky old mage who can't be bothered a lot. That's a lot of me, but that's at the core of who the character is. It's closest to my core, which is why Gray is the hardest character for me to write, and yet the easiest character for me to write. I never have to think about what Gray is going to say in a story. And this is why he cameos so often, because I can't not write Gray. I have to write him somewhere. So because I haven't done another Night Warden book, I'll just take Gray and plop him in a story somewhere, because I have to write Gray somewhere. And that's the character that I would be. Because yeah, Gray has he has the dive and now the abyss. He has the beast, which is the beast in the car. He has a really amazing close-knit family. Gray's the man. Gray's almost up there with Silk. Almost. Not quite, because Silk is the man. But Gray is pretty awesome. He's the warden. And really he's the last one. Even though he's training Coda. But definitely great. Great question. And he's willing to do whatever needs to be done. And Gray, not that he's morally Gray, because he does have principles and he stands up for them. And if you read Duskblader, which he cameos in, you'll see that there's some things he won't do, but there's a lot of things that he will do that other mages won't do. because he can see far enough ahead to see this is something that needs to be done. Also, Gray's a lot older. I think the only one that comes close, that Gray comes close to, is Dexter in terms of mage age, you know? Although Dex is older and stronger, I think. Depends. I've never had it out between Gray and Dex. That would be an interesting fight. I don't think Gray would do that, only out of respect. Okay. Okay, Dan says, well, I remember this. Well, I remember, and this may have been answered in a previous class. But is Dust Vader's nightmare connected to? No, not connected at all. And not a silly question at all. No. Even I was thinking about that for a while, between the Secret Blue universe and the nightmare and the nightmares there and Dust Vader's, because Dust Vader is set in the M&S world. So way different nightmares. Yeah, different. Yeah. That one, that nightmare and Dust Vader, yeah, that's gonna get interesting. So it's gonna start leaning towards horror, that story, that line, that series, the Dust Vader series. It gets really dark and it gets scary because of her bond to a nightmare and what a nightmare is in that context. That one is gonna channel my inner Stephen King for that. But yeah. Okay. Second question, Dolly, just to Dolly. Dolly's not here, but she can hear me. I don't know if she's driving right now. What to you is the most interesting part of Orlando's writing? Everything. Look, I'm going to answer for her. Everything. Especially when she edits. Because so to distill what she does, she gets everything first, usually. This didn't happen with Saints and Monks. But she gets everything first, usually, and then she goes through it, shreds through it. And yeah, long nights. She does long nights, bleary-eyed stuff. But everything, I'm gonna answer for her as Dolly. So I'll get behind the screen. Everything. I don't know. She has her answer. If she doesn't answer today because she's driving or she's away from, she may not be seeing the screen. So I'll make sure that I ask her that for the next Kaffeeklatsch. Okay, last question. What is Orlando? What is the most adventurous thing you've ever? Yeah, there's some things I can't say because I have little ones who probably hear this show. And if I say the most adventurous things that I've done, that's giving them carte blanche to, well, you did it when you were young. Why can't I? So I'm going to plead the fifth on this one. And let's see. Geez. No, I can't because there's so many things that I've done that are that were either illegal at the time or of questionable motive. Yeah, let's see. There you go. That's Dolly's answer, Audrey. The imagery, how I take everyone traveling around the world. Yeah, the story. I try to be very authentic with the locations. Obviously, it's mostly New York City. But if you notice, the last few books in like Saints and Monks takes place in the mountains and the Zen Garden. But okay, let me wrap up the questions and I'll get back to Dolly's answer because it's a great answer. The most adventurous thing I've done that I can say, caveat, is hanging off a 60-story building with 4 ropes in the middle of a hurricane with another guy, obviously, as the hurricane is coming into the city. And he had to take down a banner, and I had to be his second as the winds were picking up 60 stories up. And he was out on the side of the building, and then I had to make sure that he was able to take down the banner. And he took it down, but he was, because he had more experience. He was able to. So there's a hurricane coming into New York City, and we were instructed to remove this banner from the side of the building about 40 stories up. And you have to hang out on the side of the building with ropes as a hurricane is barreling in. So if you think it's windy regularly, it's already windy up 40 stories up on a regular day. When a hurricane is coming in, it's insane. So that was one of the most adventurous things I've done. And just doing that in itself, there were times where I've been up 40 stories hanging off the side of the building. All the new construction that took place on Roosevelt Island, the condos, I hung off the sides of those buildings and put up banners, and that was a lot of fun because you're up 30 stories. Again, sitting in a bosun's chair and with little ropes and 25-pound hammer drill, a bag of lag bolts, and you're being fed a banner as you're drilling into the building So that was the most adventurous stuff. Yeah. Because it's just crazy. It's stuff that I did when I thought I was immortal. And things you do, you're never gonna die. So I wouldn't do that now because it's crazy. The way we did it, the way it's normally done is that you get a rigging crew and you build a scaffold and you or you get a truck with some kind of crane that can do that and go up high enough. The way we did it is you jump off the side of the roof, jump off the edge of the roof, right? You have 2 hooks, you slide down, and you just do it. You just go around the banner like a rectangle. You usually know all rectangles. You just start at one corner, work your way across, or you work your way down, work your way across, work your way up. And working your way up is the worst. Because working your way up, you're tired by that time. Going down is easy. You're just using gravity. And going across is not so bad. But when you go up, you've got to actually physically slide those knots up. And they only go up about 3 inches at a time. You go up to the next hole in the banner where there's a grommet, you drill the hole, knock a lag in with a hammer, ratchet in a lag so that the banner doesn't go anywhere, and you work your way up to the next hole. Crazy, crazy. So the descriptions, right? Yeah, those hammer drills. And we were using, so the hammer drill, the body was this big, right? I'm gonna get to the descriptions of it. The body was about this big, the body of the hammer. The drill bit was about this big because it had to go into the building and it had to go in really deep. And hammer drills, if you ever use a hammer drill, those of you that use the tool know what it's like. You ended up beat up because hammer drills go like this every time you drill. So it's like a jackhammer. That's why it's called a hammer drill. And it's just hammering in to brick. You're drilling into brick. You want to drill into mortar, but sometimes you can't drill into the mortar. So you got to drill into the brick, and you're drilling into the brick, and it's this vibration, it's constant vibration. So by the time you were done with a banner, let's say you were doing a big banner, that's like 10 feet by 60 feet square, you were a mess. And then you're sitting in this bosun's chair, and your legs are like pinched because you're fighting gravity. Yeah, it was rough. It was rough. In the summer it was even rough, but in the winter it was bad too. And we were doing those things year round. Okay, that was another life when I used to make signs and do that kind of stuff, install signs. Okay, the most interesting part is the imagery, how it takes us traveling around the world. And what I wanted to do with saints and monks is kind of take us to a mountain retreat and a Zen garden. And the Zen garden, I know how Zen gardens are because I've been to a few and I've seen a few, and there are millions of pictures online, obviously. But I wanted to really kind of get that feel of a Zen garden across in the story. And that was what I wanted to do for Saints. I try to do that with all the places where we go to in the story. So, it takes homework. It takes a lot of research. And sometimes it's not even a paragraph. Sometimes it's less than a paragraph. Sometimes it's a page. It depends. But it's a lot of research, a lot of homework, because it has to look and sound the way it needs to get across an authentic feel. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's basically what it is. Yeah. Let me see what Aaron says. Yeah, it is crazy. Thanks, Chris. Yeah, it's crazy. That's crazy, even crazier that someone Kevin is a youngster free climbing 300 feet up. I never would have done free climbing, even though I did a lot of climbing when I was younger, climbing trees. But yeah, never free climbing mountain, like cliffs and things like that. No, I didn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy the thought of falling. Let's see. I used to make and hang the big backlit on. Yeah, those things are kind of like what we used to do, but we did it. That was a different thing, and that's more storefront type of things. I did those too, and with the ladders, hanging on the ladders. Yeah, no. Skinny as you on a hammer drill 40 feet. Yeah, I've been there. Yeah. Imagine wooden ladders, aluminum ladders in the winter. How fun. Let's see, you did good with the Zen garden. I always have a small Zen garden. Yeah, Zen gardens are important. I was thinking of getting a desk Zen garden because I don't have the actual space for a Zen garden, but they have desk Zen gardens, which are nice to look at and kind of give you that feel, right? Mary Beth says, I think that's why the whole book had a calmer feel, even with the violence. Yeah, I think what I tried to convey in the story was that feeling of the underlying feeling, because obviously what was happening directly was a lot different, but the underlying feeling of getting back to your center is really what I try to do with Saints and Monks, because that's what Simon has to get to, right? Kind of has to get to a center from where he can grow and learn what it means to be an Aspis and what it means to be who he is and accept that. So he had to be in an environment where that would be conveyed, like getting to something. Even with the pebbles getting whacked in the head constantly, like that was kind of like the humor part of it. But it's also a figurative part. Like as you're trying to learn all this stuff, life comes at you. So he's trying to climb the stairs, he's trying to get stronger, whack, he gets whacked in the belt. That's just like what we go through in life. You know, you're trying to learn, you're trying to do something, and life hits you with things, right? Hits you, you get whacked with these pebbles constantly. And you've either got to learn to dodge the pebbles or get smarter and you know, get stronger so that the pebbles don't affect you the same way. So their lesson is all over the Saints and Monks, even more so than other books, only because the whole book is a lesson for Simon's growth. And so he has to learn. Kind of like, and it really is just him, because not even on the stairs, like he calls Peaches a traitor for leaving him on the stairs. But the stairs weren't for Peaches. Peaches doesn't need to grow that way. That's why Peaches never climbed the stairs with him. Like I had some readers asking me, why didn't you make Peaches climb the stairs with him? That would have been better. He could have helped him up the stairs. And they missed the point of what the stairs were for. The stairs aren't for Peaches. Peaches doesn't need the stairs. The person who needs the stairs, and that's why you never hear Monty climbing the stairs. That doesn't mean Monty never climbed those stairs, but he's not at a point where he needs to climb those stairs, you know? So yeah. Yeah, that's a great part, Aaron, where he lets Peaches, where he goes, let's see if I get this right, where he tells Jen, Peaches, where he's speaking to Jen, and then he says, Peaches, and then Jen goes, no, thank you. I'm kind of not in the mood for fruit right now. I thought that was a great line because I was having so much fun with it, and I like Jen's reaction. Like, no, I'm good. I don't want to eat any peaches right now. Dan says, thank you, Mom, for the great hang. Thank you, Lana, for creating such an awesome world to hang out in. Thank you, Dan, for being here. It's awesome. No apologies needed for being late. You're here, and that's what matters. And I'll see you in the next one. Now, to imagine Silk's grand entrance in a future book, I'd like to see the fifth pillar in a conversation with the man. That would be an interesting situation. I don't know if it's going to happen. As for Silk's grand entrance, yeah, that's going to happen. Silk in the fifth pillar? No, different situation. But thank you for being here, Dan. Have a great weekend. And did you see the trailer of Daredevil Born Again? Ooh, that looks good. It's going to be the awesome and strong there. Yeah, Aaron, I thought that was a great line because, you know, my wife Dolly, who's amazing and intelligent and brilliant and always correct in her intuitive insights, says I'm funny. I wholeheartedly disagree, but at the same time, I'm not gonna say I'm not. But these I have to caveat that with I'm not funny deliberately. I'm funny in a weird offbeat sense. Like things like that come to me. So like when Simon says peaches, my initial response isn't, you know, something that would be normal, I guess. My initial response is Jen saying, no, I don't, no, thank you. I don't want any food right now. So that's the kind of funny I'm, but that's only because I grew up with like Python, Faulty Towers, you know, Douglas Adams, things like that, and Terry Pratchett. I didn't grow up with Terry Pratchett, but I read Terry Pratchett so much that some of that humor can't help but be part. That's what I mean about the seepage, right? It gets in there and becomes part of who you are. All right, guys, we are almost done, which is amazing because I don't know. I really don't know. I'm going to actually one day just time the show to see that it really goes this long. But we're done for today, unfortunately. If it were up to me, we can hang here all day. And really, like I said at the end of the Saints and Monks, you can fly out for a 3-day getaway somewhere warm with beaches and hammocks and just hang out and discuss M&S and the stories and just relax, just chill, just hang out, have a nice time with good company and good food. Yeah. Yeah, Heather, that conversation would be very, very, very serious. I don't know if the story could survive a conversation between the fifth pillar and the man. So it's hard enough me trying to fit silk into a story. That's gonna be fun. Thank you so much for being here, guys. Okay, so a few things. One, thank you for being here. You guys are amazing. Every show, you make every show incredible. So thank you so much for being here. Audrey, thank you for your questions. They were fantastic. I'm sorry I couldn't answer the most adventurous thing I've ever done completely authentically because some of that stuff would get me in serious trouble. You guys are great. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for making the Kaffeeklatsch an incredible, amazing space to hang out with. And one day we'll have this live in person somewhere and hanging out with coffee or tea or whatever your favorite beverage is. What's the number we're picking? You guys know the deal now. By now I shouldn't have to say anything. We're at the end of the show. You pick a number from 1 to 7 so I can put the closing track. So 1 to 7, the first 10 people get to determine the number. See, Chris is on the ball. That's why he's a technomancer. Chris put number 7. There's 13 of you left. Let's go. A number 1 to 10. The number that's repeated the most wins. So give me a track number. Yes, and those of you that celebrate Valentine's Day, that's Heather saying, please have a happy Valentine's Day. But don't just make it a one-day thing, okay, guys? Come on, really. Every day should be Valentine's Day. So don't just celebrate your significant other one day a year. Not cool. Right? Let's see, we got 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. So we're basically going in sequence. Nice. So whoever picks another of these numbers is basically going to make it. Thank you, Aaron. Totally appreciate it. Let's go. One more number. Well, let's see. We got 7, we got 6, we got 5, we got 3, we got 4. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 more numbers, guys. Let's go. And then I can pick the track. And then we'll close out the show. And a huge thank you to all of you. Thank you, Chris, our resident technomancer, who puts up the links, and you make it happen smooth, Chris. So thank you. We've been at this, I don't know now, what is it now? 6 years? Gee, I can't believe how long we've been doing this. 6 years, 6, 7 years. Oh, 4 looks like it's doing. Yeah, you already put 7 on FB. Don't try that, Chris. Sneaky. Audrey hit 4, so far it looks like 4 is the one. And thank you guys for the questions and for participating in this weird show about nothing. It's like the Seinfeld of shows. It's our book show. We can call it the book show about nothing. The Seinfeld book show. Because that's what the Kaffeeklatsch comes across at. The weird show about nothing. And then sometimes it becomes the show about really profound things. It takes that turn and turns into something really deep and profound. Okay, it's 1, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, at this point, it's a tie between 3 and 4. Someone pick one number, and then we'll close it out. If you guys don't pick, I'm gonna pick. Let's see. And please don't forget to tell people about the CWW shorts. I know I put it up on. Look, honestly, the CWWs I think are more for me than anyone else. But I've been hearing from people that tell me that they like the short episodes, that it helps them out, that they kind of get stuff from it. So it's great. But let people know, and let it, it helps grow the channel, which is always a good thing. All right, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I'm gonna pick you guys. Oh, okay. So before I take my fantastic face from this, I want to thank you all for being here. Really, guys, you guys are amazing. Don't forget the 3 B's, right? Be kind, be unstoppable, and be uncommon. And have a fantastic weekend. All right. I'm gonna take off my scary face and put on the adorable Peach's face. Give me